Something in the Alaskan wilderness made an entire town vanish, and no one wants to talk about it. Portlock, also known as Port Chatham, is an abandoned town on the Alaska coast. But what it is now isn't what it was years ago. Sitting deep in the Alaskan wilderness, surrounded by thick forests, rough mountains, and icy water, Portlock was almost perfect. The ocean was filled with salmon. The woods were full of game. The land was rich, and the town had strong workers who weren't afraid of the cold. They built a cannery, started businesses, and raised families. It looked like Portlock was going to last forever, but that's not what happened. Portlock's story begins around 1786, when Captain Nathaniel Portlock of the British Royal Navy passed through and praised the area. He wasn't the first to see it, but he was one of the first outsiders to write about it. The land was beautiful. The water was calm, and to him, it looked like the perfect place for people to live. But even back then, something felt strange. There were signs of people who had lived there before. Homes, tools, signs of life. But no one was around. It was like a whole village had been left behind. There were no signs of war, no burned buildings, no blood, just emptiness. A few years earlier, Spanish explorers had also tried to settle in the same area, but they didn't stay long either. Their men got sick. Some claimed to hear voices in the trees that sounded like whispers and crying. When Captain Portlock's own crew began falling ill, panic set in. The sickness spread fast. The fear spread faster. Some of the men refused to sleep. Others begged to leave. And so, Portlock turned away with his ill men and the memories of the voices they had heard. But this wasn't it for the Portlock, because it was gonna get another chance. In 1867, long after the sickness and whispers had driven people away, a group of native settlers returned to Portlock. They were the Sugpiaq, people who had lived off the land for generations. They knew the forests, they knew the ocean, and they believed they could survive where others had failed. Initially they did, but peace didn't last long. Soon, the people began to speak of something watching them from the trees. It didn't stay hidden for long. They said the creature was huge, taller than any man, covered in hair, with long arms and glowing eyes. It didn't walk like a bear. It walked like a person. But it wasn't a person. The Sugpiaq called it Nantinaq. Sugpiaq didn't have a word for Bigfoot, but they had Nantinaq, and it was much worse. Unlike the North American Sasquatch, which is often seen as shy or harmless, Nantinaq was feared. It wasn't just large, it was something evil. Elders from nearby villages like Nanwalek say it had powers. It could move without sound, vanish into fog, and sometimes people believed it could cause sickness or even speak through the wind. Most who saw it didn't live long. The stories all describe the same thing, a creature being upwards of 8 feet tall and being covered in dark fur. Sharp claws capable of ripping mammals with ease have also been identified. But it wasn't always seen. Sometimes, it was just the sound of heavy breathing outside a cabin door. Other times, it was a shadow in the woods that never seemed to leave. People heard things, deep growls, heavy footsteps, and voices whispering and scratching the trees. And then, people started dying. In 1931, a logger named Andrew Camlock made a decision that would change everything. He ventured deeper into the forest than anyone had before him, heading into areas people had long avoided. When he failed to return, his friends set out to find him. What they discovered wasn't just tragic, it was terrifying. He was found dead in the woods from a blow to the head. A piece of log-moving equipment nearby may have been used as a weapon. Nearby, his dogs had suffered the same fate. Their remains were torn apart, scattered across the ground, as if something enormous had ripped through them without mercy. The violence was beyond anything the villagers had ever seen. This wasn't the work of a bear. It wasn't an accident. It was something deliberate, something powerful. The entire town was shaken, but this was just the beginning. Nearly a decade after the death of Andrew Camlock, another encounter would push the town even closer to its breaking point. Tom Lawson, the owner of the local sawmill, woke up early one morning and stepped out into the freezing Alaskan air. As part of his routine, he walked down a narrow path from his cabin to check the fish traps he had set near a nearby stream. Still half asleep, Tom was expecting nothing unusual, but as he neared the water, something jolted him wide awake. Standing at the edge of the creek, with its back to him, was what appeared to be a bear. It was hunched over one of his traps, just like the animal that had been stealing his fish for weeks. At first, Tom felt relieved. He had finally caught it in the act, but before he turned to grab his rifle, something made him stop and look again. The creature wasn't using paws, it was using hands. Tom was frozen as the figure reached into the trap with long fingers, pulled out a fish, and lifted it to its mouth. It stood upright, its movements were deliberate. It ate the fish in one bite. This wasn't a bear, and whatever it was real. He rushed home, grabbed his rifle, and made his way back to the stream. But when the creature looked him right in the eyes, Tom had frozen and somehow let it leave. As fear gripped the townspeople, many began to leave Portlock, seeking safer havens where the threat of unknown monsters did not loom. Despite the community's best efforts to keep things under control, the disappearances never stopped. It didn't matter how many curfews were set, how many people carried rifles, or how careful everyone became, people kept vanishing. And with every new incident, the danger seemed to move closer. At first, it was hunters in the woods, then loggers working near the edge of town. But by the late 1940s, people began disappearing from much closer, sometimes just a few steps from their homes. It felt like whatever was out there had grown bolder, like it no longer cared about hiding. By 1950, the fear had reached a breaking point. Locals say that up to 36 people had vanished. Some were never seen again. Others were found, barely recognizable. Their bodies were torn apart, covered in wounds that no one could explain. Deep claw marks, broken bones, the kind of damage that didn't match any animal known to the region. People tried to stay calm. They tried to explain it away. But the truth was obvious to families who had lived there the longest. This wasn't a bear. It wasn't an accident. And it wasn't something they could fight. The belief in Nantinaq had turned into something stronger. It had become full-blown terror. And then, just like that, Portlock was gone. The decision to leave came quickly. One family packed up, then another, and another. Within days, nearly everyone had fled. Homes were left fully furnished. Plates were still on tables. Tools were still hanging on the walls. The cannery, once the town's main source of income, was shut down without warning or farewell. People didn't pack. They didn't plan. They just left. Historians and adventurers who later studied the town began looking into old records. What they found suggested the fear had been growing for decades. In 1905, the town's cannery shut down for an entire year. The reason? Workers were afraid to return. Rumors spread that something was watching them from the trees. Both the laborers and the local native families refused to stay in the area. Eventually, operations resumed, but the fear never fully went away. In the 1920s, a man named Albert Peck claimed to have scared off a massive, hairy creature using his dogs. But before the creature fled, it struck him in the chest with enough force to leave him seriously injured. Albert lived just long enough to describe what happened. Then he died from his wounds. Around that same time, prospectors also began going missing. Some were never seen again. Others were found days or weeks later, mangled, dismembered, or missing entire limbs. One body had no arms, another had no legs. One was found without a head. By then, hunters vanishing in the forest had become something people no longer questioned. It was almost expected. Even years after the town was abandoned, the fear still lingered. In 1968, a goat hunter entered the woods near the old village. He later told friends he had been chased by something large, something that didn't move like a bear or a wolf, something that knew where he was and wanted him gone. He never hunted in that area again. In August 1973, Ed and two others were bow hunting for goats and blackies when a storm forced them to take shelter in Dogfish Bay Lagoon. These weren't beginners. They were experienced outdoorsmen, used to the wild. But that night, the wild felt different. A storm rolled in and forced them to camp in the forest. The first night, they were woken around 2 a.m. At first, they thought it was a bear, but the steps were slow, steady, and deliberate, like something walking on 2 feet, circling their tent. They waited in silence, frozen with fear. The sounds eventually stopped, but they never heard it walk away. The next night, it came back. This time, all 3 of them were awake. The footsteps were louder, heavier. Joe sat clutching his rifle. Dennis whispered. Ed grabbed the flashlight. When they finally burst out of the tent, they found nothing. No creature, no tracks, just silence and darkness. They left the next day and never talked about it again. Years later, Ed found an old magazine article describing Portlock and knew exactly what might have haunted them that night. Years later, in 1990, a medic responding to an emergency inside a jail cell casually mentioned to an elderly native man that he had once hunted near Portlock. The moment he said it, the inmate's eyes widened. He sat up and asked, "Did it bother you? Did you see it?" The medic didn't understand the fear behind the man's words, but the elders in the region did. Even with no residents left, Portlock never truly went quiet. Decades have passed since the last footsteps echoed through Portlock streets, but the question still haunts everyone who hears the story. What was it? Now, officially, people left because it was out of the way of the new highway. Unofficially, they fled a monster who had terrorized them for decades. Other than the Bigfoot-type Yeti monster, the local natives of Portlock, Alaska, had another theory on what or who caused the murders. Some villagers started blaming the murders on the spirit of a woman dressed in black clothes. The locals revealed that the spirit of the woman emerged from the cliff above the town. She was described to be wearing a long dress which dragged behind her. The woman had a white face and could scream and moan uncontrollably. The local natives could hear something, then she would disappear. Whether it was the hairy man stalking the forest or a vengeful spirit haunting the cliffs, one thing stayed the same. Portlock became a place people were not meant to live. Be it monster or ghost, whatever haunted that land claimed it for good. And maybe that's why the mystery has never been solved. Because we weren't supposed to solve it. Portlock wasn't the only place where something massive, something unknown, attacked a group of people. Hundreds of miles away, in the thick forests of Washington, in 1924, 5 miners set up camp near Mount St. Helens. Remote, rugged terrain where few dared to build. They weren't looking for trouble, just gold. But one night, after one of them claimed to have shot at a large, upright, hairy figure watching from the trees, something came back. Not one creature, but many. As the sun dropped behind the ridgeline, the miner's cabin was surrounded. Giant shadows moved in the trees. The men barely had time to react before rocks the size of bowling balls were hurled at the roof, the walls, the windows. Clawed hands reached through gaps in the logs. The cabin shook from the force of something that wanted in. For hours, the miners fought back, firing into the darkness, praying the walls would hold. When morning came, the attack stopped. There were no bodies, no answers, just massive footprints, scattered boulders, and the undeniable memory of what had happened. They fled the canyon immediately. The press called them mad. Locals called it legend. But the miners never changed their story. They said they weren't imagining things, that they saw them creatures like giants, wild, furious, human, but not. And they said the worst part wasn't the attack. It was that they knew they were being watched long before it ever began. That place is still known today as Ape Canyon. And to those who believe their story, it was no coincidence. Because what they described sounded a lot like what happened in Portlock. Now Portlock was surrounded by thick forests. Ape Canyon was buried in the mountains. But the next place on this list was different. It was surrounded by swamps. In the early 1970s, the small town of Fouke, Arkansas, began to experience something strange. Residents living near the Sulphur River bottoms started reporting sightings of a large, hairy creature moving through the woods and wetlands near their homes. It didn't take long for the fear to spread. People discovered massive footprints in the mud three-toed tracks, unlike anything they had ever seen. These weren't the footprints of a bear or a man. They were too wide, too deep, and the stride between them was far too long for any known animal. Then came the noises. Late at night, residents began hearing deep, echoing howls coming from the trees. Livestock went missing. Some even claimed they saw the creature standing outside their homes, staring through the windows. One family said the creature tried to break in, reaching through a screen to grab someone inside. Others reported being followed down dark country roads. Cars were scratched. Trash was torn apart. No one could explain what was happening. The town gave it a name, the Fouke Monster, The media picked up the story quickly, and in 1972, a film titled The Legend of Boggy Creek was released. The movie was based on real sightings, with local residents reenacting their own encounters. It became a cult classic. But behind the fame was something very real and very terrifying. Even after the movie, the sightings didn't stop. New reports have continued into the modern day. Locals still hear the howls. They still find tracks deep in the swamp. William Lunsford, a Bigfoot researcher from the area, has interviewed dozens of witnesses over the years. Many of them tell the same story: a tall, hairy creature walking upright, always watching, always just far enough away to disappear when followed. Inside the town's Monster Mart, you can still see casts of those strange footprints on display. Tourists take photos, but the locals talk about it with quiet voices. Because to them, it's not a joke. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. These weren't just local legends. Each town was remote, surrounded by wilderness, and haunted by something no one could explain. First came the signs: footsteps, howls, shadows in the trees. Then came the disappearances. In Portlock, entire families vanished. Hunters were found torn apart. A creature known to native elders as Nantinaq stalked the forest and drove an entire town to flee, leaving behind homes, tools, and unanswered questions. In Ape Canyon, 5 miners were surrounded in their cabin by large, upright beasts that hurled stones and clawed at the walls. They escaped with their lives, but not their peace. To this day, their story is one of the most violent Bigfoot encounters ever recorded. In Fouke, residents heard howls in the night, found massive 3-toed tracks, and watched as something walked through the swamp, peering through windows and tearing through livestock. It came to be known as the Fouke Monster, and it never truly went away. The creatures were never caught. Only stories remain passed down by those lucky enough to survive. This guy's been down in some volcanic caves at the base of Mount Shasta, but what he caught on camera would scar him for life. Before finding that footage, he's been in those caves for a while, exploring, but for some reason, his health started deteriorating.
Exploring the volcanic tubes at the base of Mount Shasta.
But before leaving, he decided to leave some high-tech trail cams to keep an eye on any movement near where he used to have his camp. However, a few days after he left, he received from the cloud a notification of the activity and the recording the trail camera caught. What exactly was this? Was this a masked man trying to mess around? Or something more eerie? Mount Shasta is incredibly mysterious. British prospector J.C. Brown claimed to have discovered an underground city beneath Mount Shasta in 1904, filled with gold, shields, and mummies. He organized a team of around 80 people to go and search this city. But on the day the team was scheduled to descend in the caverns, Brown did not show up. In fact, any trace of Brown disappeared. He was never seen again. And that's not all. There's been many cases of UFO sightings and religious cult-like activity around the place. Many people nowadays try their best to avoid this place because of these legends. So, what exactly is going on there? This video from West Wales reveals what looks like a small, mountain crack that actually led to a terrifying discovery. It was filmed by a girl named Seomai, who stumbled upon what seems to be an ancient cave chamber system.
Is that an eye?
Yeah, so that's what she was taking
And a
out.
beard.
Yeah.
There's the beard, there's the mouth,
there's the nose.
there's the nose.
Yes.
Holy crap, what is it?
The walls are filled with strange sculptures and carvings, showing creatures like cyclops, headless figures, and fiends, each more eerie than the last. Also, there are embedded rare, unique shells in the walls, adding an extra layer of mystery. It feels like a forbidden, cursed cave that was never meant to be found. What do you think? Is this a hidden piece of ancient history or something best left undiscovered? A terrifying video surfaced on YouTube, capturing what appears to be a deadly Bigfoot hunt by a lone hunter. It's unmistakably a humanoid figure, tall, with a hunched posture, and that distinctive walk that screams Bigfoot. The height and the stance match every eerie description you've ever heard about this elusive creature. The hunter takes a shotgun shot, but judging by the footage, it looks like he missed entirely, and this was the result.
Rick, I'm going back to the camp!
Whoever posted this video probably stumbled upon the abandoned camera in the forest because it seems like the hunter himself is long gone. Pausing on the creature's face, it does look like Bigfoot, though some might argue it could just be a mask and the whole thing a prank. But who knows? That's just speculation. Hearing rumors from a Gettysburg forest ranger about a haunted spot, two friends decided to investigate and had a chilling discovery.
I was told by a ranger. It was about in this area here, Jay, that the ranger said that there's been some activities. They heard some rumors about seeing some sightings of something that they can't explain.
There's a lot of troops that left over here, so the activity should be strong.
All right, we'll record for like...
After about 20 minutes of waiting, they finally got what they came for. Do you see it? Right beside the cannon, a faint, humanoid figure appears, walking right in front of it before disappearing into thin air. Seems like the ranger was onto something. This spot really does look haunted. And now, they've got the evidence to prove it. After the Loch Ness Monster mystery, now we've got the Seneca Lake Monster, which actually made headlines on news.
Well, you heard of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, but what about the Seneca Lake Monster?
Well, tonight our 18 News anchor Elizabeth Worthington diving into the history behind this mysterious legend.
Back in 2019, that eerie sighting you just watched was first spotted by a ship crew in Dresden, New York. At first, they thought it was an overturned boat, but as they got closer, they realized it might be something far more unsettling, a lake monster.
All of a sudden, they spotted this thing out in the water that they thought was an overturned boat. And so as the captain approached it, he was thinking, there's going to be, people in the water and they need rescued out. So he's trying to approach this thing that looks like a boat. And as they approached, this thing just went under the water. And so they're looking around, and all of a sudden, a few minutes later, they claim to see this creature raise its head above the water and showed off 2 rows of white, sharp teeth.
News even interviewed local experts around Seneca, and many of them seemed convinced this creature could be real, especially since there's a history of river monster sightings in that area. So now the question is, could this be a rival to the Loch Ness Monster? Or maybe even the same creature? In 2006, a scientist's routine deep-sea exploration took a bizarre turn when they found this, 526 meters deep in the ocean. That definitely looks like a spear used for fishing, but what on earth is it doing so deep underwater? Now, NOAA only had their camera down there for the exploration, so who threw that spear? And the way it was snatched back so quickly is beyond strange. People are speculating it could be a mermaid, or even signs of a hidden underwater civilization. Next, we have what some are calling a clear sign from above, hinting at the tribulation and the impending judgment of God.
So, this Bible was found after the flood from Hurricane Helene, and it is on Revelation 14 and 15.
This Bible was found like this after the devastating Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. It lay open to the book of Revelation, specifically chapters 14 and 15, which led many viewers to believe it's a direct message from God. It's strange how this Bible stayed open like that even after the hurricane's chaos. Maybe it truly is a sign from above, or maybe there's something completely else brewing out of sight. Next, we have another post-hurricane video, this time from a hotel room, capturing what looks like an otherworldly creature swept by the hurricane. You can see a creepy-looking head peeking from behind the kitchen counter. It's also making those unsettling, almost vomiting sounds. According to the owner, this eerie figure started appearing after Hurricane Milton. Hurricanes are already terrifying, but if they're bringing along strange, otherworldly creatures like that, I might just book a ticket to another planet. Islands are usually a getaway from a stressful work life, but after watching this clip, you might just prefer the hustle and bustle. What on earth is that? It almost looks like the Predator from Alien vs. Predator movie. This strange figure was reportedly found on Flores Island by an unknown individual, and the video eventually surfaced on YouTube. It has a primitive look to its body, but the head, that's where things get disturbingly strange. Whatever this creature is, let's hope it stays on that island. Coming up next, we've got a TikTok video that seems to capture literal fire raining down from the sky. Could this be a sign that the end is near? It drifts down pretty slowly, but what really gets me is how it separates and forms such a unique shape. Viewers are going wild with theories. Some see an angel, others say it's Jacob's stars, but honestly, it looks like fireworks to me. It could be a skydiver using fireworks during a dive, or just an impressive pyrotechnic display. Whatever it is, it's both breathtaking and mysterious. A driver in Pedrinhas came across what people are calling a real-life werewolf lying by the roadside, and it looks disturbingly real. This definitely looks like roadkill, given the state of the body, and judging by the fresh blood, it seems recent. I've never seen anything like it. It has the body mass of a buffalo, but with a head resembling a wolf, though much more massive, almost as if it's a wolf on steroids. Now, this could be an expertly edited clip, but if it's not, then we might have to face the unsettling possibility that werewolves exist. Nature, as beautiful as it can be, sometimes crosses into the downright bizarre, just like this strange, alien-looking thing caught on video. This unsettling, almost otherworldly mass seems like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Its shape is random, but you can just make out what might be legs and a torso, though everything else looks distorted and unnatural. Also, half of its body appears smudged, almost like something pressed down on it, causing its demise. To me, it almost looks like something crafted from clay or a plastic-like material, but it could just as easily be some kind of stillborn creature. What do you guys think? Scientists say only 5% of the ocean has been explored, leaving the rest a mystery. This submersible video might have just captured something from those unknown depths. This footage was taken by tourists on a submarine adventure in the Greenland Sea. Out of nowhere, you can see a strange, almost human-like hand pressing against the glass. But that's not even the creepiest part. As it pulls back, you get a glimpse of a face. Something like an alien mermaid. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. At these depths, I have no idea what a creature like that is doing, but I can only hope it's one of a kind. This might be the holy grail of Bigfoot evidence. This man claims he's found something truly unusual.
Y'all tell me what y'all think it is. I mean, I'm gonna pick it up. Well, I ain't gonna hurt nothing. That is, ooh, it's solid up in there.
Now, this is interesting. It really does resemble a petrified toe, but the size of it, far too large to be human, isn't it? Compare it with his fingers.
That is a petrified Bigfoot toe, or somebody's thumb. It is freaking huge, whatever it is. I'm coming. Give me a box to put it in. I had to show y'all first. What do y'all think?
That can either be a really weird-looking stone, or indeed a petrified toe. You can even see what looks like the nail of the toe. The process of petrification is pretty rare. The organic material needs to be replaced by minerals, and as far as I could find, there are no cases of such perfect petrification done by natural causes, only through artificial means. What do you think about this toe? True or fake? This next clip is fascinating for two reasons. First, it comes from a well-known conservative political activist and author, Charlie Kirk. Second, it's absolutely genuine. No foul play here.
Those are not airplanes.
Yeah, they keep circling.
They just keep circling. And they're going to go away.
And there's nothing on your radar right now?
No, there's nothing there. I can zoom out.
Now the light's going out.
They're gone.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
A couple times in this area. But
we're flying over New Mexico?
Yeah.
Which is Roswell, which is where all those...
Correct. It's where all the weird stuff happens. But they're going to go again.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
doing it for like the past hour.
What do you think they are?
Something was above them and not showing on radar. The disturbing part is that they are above New Mexico, where supposedly an UFO crashed in 1947 and alien bodies were found. Of course, it was all deemed as just a conspiracy theory, but that is a crazy coincidence.
They're at 100,000 feet?
They would have to be. The X-15 flew at 300,000 feet. Here they come again. They're coming around again. I can see the one. He's going to get bright, and then it's going to go away.
So they're above us significantly.
Look, it's going to get really bright. And then it's going to go away. The whole flight I've been wanting to call you up here. I'm like, who's going to think we're crazy?
No, I'm seeing it myself. But look, your radar would pick it up if it was an aircraft, right?
Yes. There's one below us at 8,000 feet. There's another one below us at 6,000 feet.
There's nobody out here within
200 miles. There's nobody.
But what kind of a thing would not be picked up on radar?
Yeah, exactly. Something stealth.
Could it be military?
I would think so. I think it has to be.
But why would they be just showing lights and doing stuff like that?
I don't know.
Those two dots are far above the aircraft, appearing and disappearing in a pattern. And more importantly, they're not detected on radar. These must be seriously stealthy objects to evade radar detection.
The satellites are a much higher orbit than that.
I don't know precisely how high the orbit is.
So is that again?
I would think, yeah.
They seem to be moving.
Exactly. 119 and I were flying, we swear they were dogfighting.
Really?
What it looks like. It looks like something out of Star Wars.
Have your other pilots ever seen anything like
we
this?
Talked about it a little bit, especially going over El Paso, down by White Sands through here.
This is really strange. Even the pilots believe it can't be satellites because they're circling around the same place and they would be way below the normal altitude. What we're seeing is at around 100,000 feet. For you to understand just how strange this is, normal planes usually go up to 43,000 feet. Only reconnaissance aircrafts reach that altitude. So, someone is secretly watching that area from above.
And no logical explanation.
The only logical explanation would be a satellite, but I don't know the satellite that does a circle in the same place. Here they come again, you can almost see three of them. There's one, they're lower on the horizon now.
It's like they're in formation now.
Yeah, exactly. And then like one coming up behind us.
Yeah, there's two of them right there. And they're way ahead of us.
Yeah.
Could they be surveillance?
Yeah, my conspiracy theory mind just starts going crazy.
The question is, who's doing the surveillance? Humans or aliens? I don't see how we can just write these things off. I mean, there's definitely something there. This clip comes from a janitor on a late shift at King High School who started noticing weird things happening, so he started recording this.
All right, I usually don't record while I'm on the job, but this is freaking me out. It's sort of unreal. I'm here at work. I'm here in the janitor's closet. Just to, I don't know, let you guys know this school was built on the cemetery.
In 2019, a chilling discovery was made beneath the grounds of C. Leon King High School in Tampa, Florida.
As it found 145 coffins at King High School, and there could be more.
Showing just how ugly things were here, even through the 1950s.
It's also difficult to know that there could be dozens more coffins, possibly of infants too tiny for radars to detect. Black cemeteries that have been erased through racism, neglect, and time.
The school, established in 1960, was unknowingly constructed atop Ridgewood Cemetery, a forgotten burial ground for African Americans and indigent individuals. Ground-penetrating radar revealed approximately 145 unmarked graves just 3 to 5 feet below the surface, with historical records indicating that between 250 and 268 people were interred there between 1933 and 1954.
Yeah, I didn't really believe him until tonight. I was in here cleaning up after some students had thrown a party, but what's been freaking me out is this one right here. No matter where I'm at in the classroom or what I decide to do, it just follows me. And do your thing, you stupid balloon. I got you on camera now, so let's just, see? That right there.
The balloon moved by itself, but is this enough proof? Well, things are about to get way scarier.
Just... Ooh, okay.
The balloon starts following him, as if dragged or moved by an unseen force.
See, no.
The disturbing part is that the balloon seems to move only when he moves as well, and stationary when he stops. However, that is not the scariest part. Brace yourself for what comes next.
It just follows me no matter what. Ooh! No, I can't.
A disturbing figure can be seen speeding by at the windows, way too fast for a person playing a prank on this janitor. And considering the history and the fact that there's been so many night janitors giving up on this job, there might be some credit to this footage. In 2007, seasoned Australian adventurer Andrew McCauley embarked on a perilous solo kayak journey, aiming to traverse the 991-mile expanse of the Tasman Sea from Australia to New Zealand. This is his last footage. His body was never found. Equipped with a modified sea kayak and a fervent spirit, McCauley documented his voyage through a series of haunting video recordings. These clips capture his encounters with the relentless ocean, his reflections on isolation, and the mounting challenges he faced. As he neared New Zealand's shores, McCauley transmitted a distress call, his voice strained and fragmented, indicating his kayak was sinking. Despite an extensive search, only his capsized kayak was recovered. McCauley himself was never found. The recovered footage stands as the only testament to his final days, offering a glimpse into the harrowing reality of his ill-fated expedition. A group of friends on a late-night road trip were navigating offbeat roads, with only the car's headlights cutting through the pitch black around them. But things were about to take a dark turn.
ఏమో మాన్ పెయింట్ వేసిండదో ఎవరో నడుచుకొని వస్తుండదో ఏమో ఉంది. ఏ పదరా సీదా ఏరా ఇంత భయం పడతావు చూడాడా పద్రా ఎవరో ఉంటాడా నిల్చుకొని ఎవరికో కాస్తుంటాడు. కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ పెడు కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ పెడు బయట రా ఫాస్ట్ గా భయం ఉంటా.
At first, it's hard to see, just darkness. But then, a figure slowly starts to take shape in the darkness. A figure dressed in white, but no face. In some Eastern cultures, they say you can't see a ghost's face, and their feet are often backwards. I always thought those were just superstitions, but maybe, just maybe, there's something to them. This next video is a textbook nightmare. Look at this. Tell me, in what world do you find two lions roaming inside a house while you're trapped in the middle, on the stairs no less? I hope this is one of those people that keep lions as pets somewhere in an Asian country, because if those were wild ones, then this man is doomed. The Michigan Dogman, first sighted back in 1887 in Wexford County, has always been more legend than reality, until now.
Nunca tinha visto uma porra dessa na minha vida. Olha.
This is absolutely bizarre. At first glance, it almost looks like a sheep, but then you notice a fierce, wolf-like mouth emerging from its body, turning this into something straight out of a nightmare. It seems like the Michigan Dogman may have been trying to disguise itself as a sheep, maybe for hunting. You can make out limbs beneath the white fur, but they're hard to see clearly. Now, here's the real question. Who or what could have killed something as terrifying as the Dogman? Could there be an even fiercer predator lurking out there? Just like clouds, it seems the sea monsters nowadays come in every imaginable shape and size. Take a look at this massive thing spotted in Goderich, Ontario.
I think it's alive, but I don't know what it is.
This enormous shape is definitely moving, as you can tell from the ripples spreading out around it. But what exactly is it? It could be a gigantic jellyfish or a stingray, which makes watching this footage even more unnerving. Interestingly, I saw comments on the video saying that it's actually just a large rock shaped like a creature, and people sometimes even stand on it. The ripples, according to them, are just fish hovering around it. If it's a rock, we're safe. But if not, I might be staying far from the shore for a while. For this next video, I'll let you decide whether it was pure skill or just sheer luck that saved this skier's life.
Bien fait partir, mon gaga. Nickel. Nickel.
It's an incredibly close call. The avalanche is right behind him, and you can feel the tension. One wrong move, and things could have taken a devastating turn. What do you think? Luck or skill? This guy goes from skiing to paragliding over the avalanche like he's been practicing it for years. It was way too close for comfort, but luckily, he managed to pull it off just in time. If creepy crawlies make you squirm, then Florida might be your worst nightmare, because creatures like this are lurking around. Look at that thing. It almost looks alien. I've never seen a millipede like this before. Its legs are like weird, spiky hairs poking out, and its body is segmented in the oddest way. And the way it wiggles as it moves, regular millipedes don't walk like that. I don't know what this creature is exactly, but one thing's for sure. You wouldn't want to touch it, not even with gloves on. This next video seems to capture what looks like a glitch in nature that desperately needs fixing. It looks like rain, right? But here's the strange part. It's only falling in one tiny spot. You can see the whole road is dry, but there's this one small area getting drenched. I've heard of cloud bursts that can target small areas, but this size, that's a first for me. Maybe it's a leaking pipe overhead, hidden in the darkness. But honestly, I'm just trying to make sense of this strange scene. What do you think is going on here? The existence of extraterrestrial life is a long-standing debate, and videos like this one from Wolverhampton, England, only fuel the speculation.
Stars are literally in a line and they are moving across the sky. Also, I've been watching the moon and the moon has been moving up in a weird position. I've never seen. I have no idea what's going on. Look how fast they're moving. What on earth is going on? What on earth is going on?
According to the cameraman, there are strange lights hovering in the night sky, shining brightly and seemingly just floating there. It certainly looks alien, unless, of course, you've been living under a rock and don't know about Starlink satellites. If you're unaware, these lights might just give off an otherworldly vibe, but in reality, they're simply satellites. It's fascinating how easily perception can be swayed, isn't it? There's something deeply unsettling about seeing a creature that looks like it crawled out of a nightmare. And this video is a perfect example. This TikTok video, uploaded by a driver, shows something truly bizarre. In the shot, there are cars driving on the road, but the background is stolen by a long, writhing creature trying to squeeze its way through a hole in the wall. It looks vaguely eel-like, but the video only catches its body because its head is already inside when the filming starts. Whatever it is, it's definitely long and definitely not giving up on getting into that building. The comments on this one are wild. Some folks are convinced it's computer-generated imagery, while others are full-on alien believers. Honestly, I can't blame them. Let's be real. That thing looks like it belongs on another planet. Me? I'm leaning towards the unidentified weirdness explanation. But, hey, that's the beauty of the internet. There's room for all kinds of theories. Speaking of aliens, UFOs, and conspiracy theories, you've probably heard the one about how we never actually went to the moon, right? The whole thing was supposedly staged here on Earth, directed by none other than Stanley Kubrick. Allegedly, someone has found the exact location where the moon landing was staged, and they've got video proof. Here's the footage, side by side with the original moon landing shots. What do you think? Could this really be the location? I won't nudge you one way or the other. Watching a tornado tear through cities and fields is scary enough, but imagine being stuck right in its path, wondering how you'd survive. This video might give you some clues.
Tornado! Fucking tornado! Stay low! Stay low!
An adventurous family was on a camping trip in the Canadian forest near Toronto. Little did they know, their peaceful getaway was about to take a wild turn. The video shows them setting up camp, enjoying the tranquility of the woods. Suddenly, the dad's phone pierces the calm with a thunderstorm warning.
Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Mobile coverage area, take cover immediately if threatening.
Panic flashes in his eyes as he spots a monstrous tornado churning in the distance. Thinking fast, Dad yells for his kids to get inside the camping hut and take cover. The tornado hits with a fury, the wind howling like a banshee as it wreaks havoc all around them. Huddled inside the hut, the family can only wait it out, their screams muffled by the deafening roar.
Oh, no, no, no! Please, no! Holy fuck!
Finally, when the noise dies down, they cautiously peek outside. The sight that greets them is unbelievable. Every single tree is flattened, the landscape completely transformed. Shaken but unharmed, they eventually make their way back home, the video ending there. This encounter has to be one of the most terrifying things ever. But one question lingers. How did their little hut survive such a monstrous twister? My guess is the base of the hut might be partially underground, anchoring it to the ground.
Tornado! Fucking tornado! Stay low!
Tornadoes are weird, man. The damage they cause can be unpredictable. We've all seen videos of people rescuing animals, and it's definitely a good thing. But what if the animal, well, isn't exactly cooperating? This hilarious video doing the rounds on TikTok shows a guy trying to help a sheep with a unique sense of direction. The scene opens with a sheep hopelessly stuck in a large gap in the ground. The guy uses all his might, a strap, and some serious arm strength to finally pull the sheep free. As the sheep gets free, it takes off running, all happy and relieved, right into another gap, just a bit further down the path. Talk about a deja vu moment. The guy helping out can't help but burst into laughter, and that's where the video cuts off. Listen, I know sheep aren't exactly known for their rocket science skills, but falling back into the same hole you just escaped from, that's some next level confusion. Hopefully, the guy managed to snag the sheep again, and maybe this time they could discuss a different escape route. How do you know if your house is haunted? Well, this video shows you one way to find out. Just record.
Okay, so it's doing it again. That switch down there is on. You see it past my shaking. This one is on, okay? It's Mom. See what I mean? It's... You can hear it. Mom, nope.
He wanted proof, and it seems like the ghost wasn't about to let him down. Just as he called it out, the light switch flips, as if to say, "Yep, I'm here."
This one is on, okay? It's Mom. See what I mean? It's... You can hear it. Mom.
Sure, it looks like something straight out of a paranormal movie. But if we think logically, it could be a wiring issue. But then again, why did it happen right when he mentioned his house being haunted? So now he's faced with the big question. Should he call an electrician? Or a ghost exorcist? Tough call. We all know that one guy who takes pranks to the next level, just like these two creepy characters in a drive-thru. Talk about a nightmare scenario. Their bizarre and unsettling poses give off serious chills. According to the uploader, they sat like that for a full 10 minutes before finally breaking character, revealing it was all just a spooky season prank. You can see them twitching slightly, but in the blink of an eye, they freeze back into that eerie pose, complete with those unsettling grins. Honestly, if I saw them like that, I'd be hitting the gas and heading straight home. No takeout for me tonight. A student group was filming a short video for their project when the camera accidentally captured something that turned their clip into a horror movie. At first glance, everything seems pretty ordinary. Just students hanging out in the restroom, right? But let me slow down the video for you. What in the world is that? This footage was recorded at 7 p.m. in the women's restroom at SA College, and it captured this horrifying girl in a long white dress with flowing hair in the mirror. The group seems completely oblivious to her presence, but the camera caught it all. And here's the thing, she wasn't with the group. Who in the hell is she? Let me know in the comments if you would have said hi to her. Back in the early days of Earth, massive beasts roamed everywhere. Most of them are long gone, but not this one, captured right here on video.
That's a beast.
The cameraman and his family stumbled upon this massive creature resting in the swamp, and just watching it is terrifying enough. The swamp puppy even has its eyes wide open. It was awake, and one wrong move from the boat could have easily disturbed it. Who knows what could have happened to the family if it decided to react. This monstrous gator looks strong enough to flip the boat with just a swing of its tail. So be careful when traveling through these swamps. You never know what might be lurking just below the surface. Next, we have a homeowner's heart-stopping experience when he decided to check out strange sounds coming from his basement.
Hello? Oh my god!
Even the dog seems distressed, and it feels like someone, or something, is down there rummaging around. But then, the owner did something brave, or maybe crazy. He called out to whatever was down there.
Hello? Oh my god!
Thank goodness he didn't actually step into that darkness. As soon as he called out, something sprinted toward him, and his fast reflexes might have just saved him from whatever was lurking below. Now, some might say it could have been a stray animal, but let me tell you, animals don't run with that heavy human-like thud. That much I know for sure. This happened live on TV, and it left viewers wondering if a reporter on TV news might actually be a reptile.
Among us. So I was just watching TV, I had taped it because I went to have a shower, come back and watch it, and I'm looking at this reporter and I noticed something about his eyes at the very last minute. You're about to see this. Just at the very end, it's coming up now, we're gonna see a second set of eyes. I don't know if this has been caught on TV before. Do you see that? Second set of eyes. I'm gonna go back and show it to you. She even looks a little bit shocked, like, what did I just see? I think she saw it too.
In this clip, the man explained what he just witnessed. But as the clip slows down, there it is. This guy might actually be a reptilian.
I'm gonna do it in slow-mo now. There we go. It's like he had eyes in between. In between those eyelids is another set of eyes. Can you see that? And the whites are bigger. The whites are very big.
You can see it for yourself. His eyes blink in a way that looks, well, not human. It could be a camera glitch, sure, but there's also a chance we're witnessing something straight out of a conspiracy theory, a real-life reptilian in disguise caught on camera. I've always hated dolls, and this next video shows exactly why.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my...
This thing looks like it's haunted by some kind of spirit or ghost. There's something undeniably creepy about seeing a lifeless object make these eerie, almost human-like movements. Some might say it could be the wind, but seriously, how on earth would a breeze lift the doll's leg like that? Sure, it could be strings tied to the doll's leg, but we can't spot a single string in this video. Honestly, my advice to the homeowner: pack up, leave the house, and on your way out, burn that doll to the ground. Living next to a forest with a tall fence might make you feel secure, but think twice after seeing this. This video from India shows a nerve-wracking scene. We see a house with a leopard approaching at full speed. It then leaps over the fence with incredible ease, as if it were nothing. The story doesn't end there. After clearing the fence in a single bound, the leopard charges towards a car and slams right into the front passenger window. It manages to rip off the window guard with its powerful paws before disappearing into a nearby building. This encounter definitely shows the leopard's agility and potential aggression. It's likely something spooked it, causing this erratic behavior. Still, seeing a wild animal move so freely is a bit chilling. If a fence can't stop it, what can a homeowner do? Squirrels are adorable, darting around backyards searching for snacks. But if you think they're cute, get ready for a surprise. That's definitely not your typical backyard squirrel. This video, captured by researchers in Antarctica, shows a truly bizarre-looking creature that vaguely resembles a squirrel. But don't freak out, it's definitely not a fuzzy friend gone rogue. This fascinating creature is actually a giant scale worm called Eulogisca gigantea, and it's found only in the icy depths of Antarctica. While it can grow up to 9 inches long, roughly the size of a squirrel, the resemblance stops there. The Eulogisca gigantea has a long, segmented body that might remind you of a tail, but it's all part of its worm-like form. Where things get interesting and maybe a little creepy is its mouth. It has a set of 4 sharp teeth and an unusual structure that wouldn't look out of place in a science fiction movie. Even though it's a real creature, it's easy to see why you wouldn't want one in your backyard. Luckily, these Eulogisca gigantea are perfectly happy in the frigid waters of Antarctica. Let's keep them there, researchers. Next up, a clip from Egypt that's got the internet buzzing about a bizarre 6-legged creature.
Bizarre footage has emerged of an unknown animal, appearing to have 6 legs, and it's baffled the internet.
The video shows a strange bug-like creature strolling across a rock. Its body is covered in long, hair-like, furry structures, and it is completely white in color and texture. Despite its appearance, which is unlike any typical moth, the creature moves with a similar bug-like gait. It measures no more than a few inches in length and looks very light as it walks. At times, the creature resembles a ball of cotton, but as it moves, it clearly appears to be some sort of bug. Onlookers were amazed and confused by what this creature could be. Online, people have speculated wildly, with some suggesting it might be a poisonous bug, while others think it could be a creature from another world. I also don't know what it is, but I do know that whatever it is, you definitely don't want to touch it. People ask me why I always avoid riding alone on deserted roads at night. And this video is exactly why. This terrifying clip comes from India and shows a biker on his way to a wedding. But his journey takes a chilling turn. The video, captured on the biker's GoPro, shows him riding peacefully on a dark road, his headlight cutting through the night. Suddenly, he spots something strange on the side of the road in the distance. At first, he doesn't think much of it, but then the figure starts walking towards the middle of the road, right in his path. The biker swerves to avoid a collision, his screams echoing through the night. Clearly shaken, he makes a U-turn and heads back home. But just as he turns, he catches another glimpse of the figure at the roadside. He lets out another terrified scream and speeds off, the video ending abruptly. The figure, clad entirely in white, appears almost ghost-like, which is kind of really eerie, right? This biker will probably think twice about riding alone at night ever again. If you got so far in the video, it means you're a dedicated viewer. Thank you. And if you subscribe and hit the bell button, I promise to keep posting these for you to enjoy. On April 29th, 2006, a passenger aboard a blue panorama flight from Rome to Paris captured something inexplicable through their window. The footage surfaced online, igniting debates among skeptics and believers alike. Some dismissed it as a hoax, while others saw it as undeniable proof of the unknown. CGI experts analyzed the footage frame by frame. If it's a fabrication, it's an exceptionally sophisticated one. The lighting, the shadows, everything aligns too perfectly. Retired pilots, recalling past experiences, have seen strange things in the sky they described similar to what you see in this footage. Could this be a glimpse into a hidden world? A religious procession is making its way down the street when something in a nearby school building catches someone's eye. A figure completely white. At best, it resembles something out of a science fiction movie, and at worst, it's a ghost. This is why empty schools after hours are downright unsettling. There's something lurking in the silence that defies explanation. This family was having a peaceful campfire trip when the child spotted something eerie.
Mommy, a girl behind you.
What are you? Did you take it?
Not yet, it's still loading.
I'm not even sure what to call it. That strange light following? And what did that kid mean when she said, "A girl behind you"? Did they see something we missed?
Don't move.
I couldn't make out a female figure, but whatever it was definitely following, mirroring every move. What do you think this is? Here's another eerie encounter, and this time from India. Apparently, these guys are on a road trip, driving through the night. Suddenly, one of them spots something in the dark and tells the others to kill the music. Their reactions felt genuinely terrified. Is this some prank, or set-up video, or a strange catch? What do you think? Next up, we have a bizarre incident out of India that you'll have to see to believe. A massive crocodile somehow made its way out of the river and onto the streets of a city. Even stranger, it ended up on a bridge, of all places. Thankfully, the authorities were called and managed to get the crocodile back into the river. Videos like these should raise some questions. Maybe we've encroached on so many of their spaces that incidents like this one are going to happen more often. Before doorbell security cameras, there was no way to know who was at your door, which was a major security concern. Ring cameras have definitely changed the game, but sometimes they capture things a little more.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
What was that? This video comes from a Ring doorbell camera in that detected some strange activity. The camera activates, and we see what looks like a long, glowing worm floating in the air. It seems to be made up of tiny, glowing particles with a larger one at the front. This thing floats around for a whole minute before the video cuts out. It definitely triggered the camera sensor, but it doesn't exactly look human. Confusing, right? But before we jump to conclusions, there might be a logical explanation. It could be a spider web dangling in front of the camera, with the glowing bits just reflecting the camera's flash. What do you think, ghost or spiderweb? Let me know in the comments below. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. This dad just installed a new nanny cam in his baby's crib. And let's just say the test run got a whole lot more interesting than he expected.
Let me check if I can get your face. Say hello, Liz. What the f?
In the video, the dad's adjusting the nanny cam settings, panning it around the crib. As he moves it towards his wife, he freaks out. There's a face peeking out from behind the door in the background. It disappears as soon as it sees the camera pointed at it. The husband is understandably freaked out and confused. He rushes to the baby's room, asking his wife who was behind the door. She has no idea what he's talking about. He even checks the bathroom, where the face seemed to be coming from, but finds nothing. Seriously terrifying. We all saw that head pop out the door, and it's caught right on camera. So what was it? A ghost? A prankster hiding? The possibilities are seriously scary. Our vehicles are made for driving on well-maintained roads, and even off-road vehicles are designed for handling rough terrain. But that doesn't stop some people from doing crazy things, like the driver in this video.
Yeah, right.
This video was recorded by an adventure enthusiast who decided to take their car for a spin through an Australian forest. In the video, we see them driving through thick brush, and you can hear the sound of branches and sticks snapping under the car. Suddenly, there's a loud crack, and the vehicle lurches to a stop. The driver pans the camera around, and that's when we see the damage. A huge branch has pierced the front of the car, narrowly missing the driver. It looks like they were just inches away from disaster. This is a scary reminder that cars are not meant for off-road. Sticking to well-maintained roads is the best way to avoid getting yourself into a dangerous situation. A supposedly fun camping experience becomes deadly after these campers get visited by something horrifying in the forest. The beginning of the video features a small group of friends setting up a campfire in the middle of the woods. They proceed to relax and talk near the fire when suddenly they hear this.
Hear that? Get Trevor. Austin, get the light.
At first, the sound can be mistaken as coming from a human male, but as we will come to find out later on, the source of the sound is much more horrifying. The men can be seen not knowing how to react, but instincts tell them to pick up their things and leave. The next scene you're about to see is nightmare.
Hey!
That was not an elk. Something was wrong. Here, Tuck. Get back here. Ah, get ready. Everybody, get in my truck!
Unfortunately, what happened beyond this point is unknown as the camera cuts abruptly. It is reported that the men in the video are missing, and the footage was recovered by a close relative. What do you think happened to these men? And who or what do you think was the source of the warning calls? Leave your thoughts. If you're as fascinated by Bigfoot as I am, then prepare to get excited because this clip from Provo, Utah, might just make your heart skip a beat. Recorded by a hiker deep in the woods of Provo, Utah, this video captures what appears to be a strange Bigfoot-like creature roaming the wilderness. In the footage, we see a towering figure moving through the trees in the distance, dwarfing the nearby vegetation. Also, covered in thick black fur, the creature's size is truly staggering, and its movement is unmistakably humanoid. While some skeptics might argue that it could be an ape or gorilla, the key distinction lies in the creature's massive size and distinctly humanoid posture and walk. So, I believe there's genuine authenticity to this video, and this hiker may have captured one of the rarest sightings ever recorded of the legendary Bigfoot. This next clip, resembling something straight out of an alien movie, has left netizens buzzing with confusion and a touch of disgust.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, What you just witnessed wasn't from outer space, but a creature found in a cave in Texas. In this video captured by a cave explorer, we're greeted with multiple gooey masses of creatures sprawled across the cave floor. These creatures don't have a specific body shape, but rather a web-like periphery that expands, contracts, and morphs into different forms. There are several of them scattered about, each taking on a unique shape, one elongated and wriggling like a worm, while others pulsate and undulate. As for their texture, it's all gooey, slimy, and downright bizarre. I don't know what the heck these creatures are, but I'm hoping the explorer decides to leave them be. The last thing we need is for these slimy critters to venture out of their cave and into our world. I don't know what it is about California, especially Fresno, but it seems like aliens just can't resist paying a visit there. And this video is yet another piece of evidence. This security camera footage from Fresno, California, captures a truly bizarre scene unfolding in a backyard. The video starts off with a view of a pool surrounded by fences, but soon enough, something out of the ordinary happens. A small, bright white figure emerges from the gate in the fence. This humanoid-like figure, reminiscent of a small child, approaches the pool, and after a moment's pause, starts walking on the water surface. Yes, you saw that. The alien-like creature effortlessly strolls across the pool before the video cuts off. For the residents of Fresno, sightings like this are almost routine, but for the rest of us, it's a mind-boggling spectacle. What secrets are you hiding, Fresno? What is it that the aliens are after? The world may never know. We're all familiar with snakes and their slithering ways, right? But what if I told you there's a snake out there that's breaking all the rules? Check out this mind-blowing video. This footage, straight from Thailand, was captured by a homeowner who stumbled upon something truly extraordinary in their own backyard. In the video he captured, there was a creature with a long, sleek body of a snake, but with a surprising twist. It's got 4 legs up front. It's like someone decided to mix and match features from a snake and a lizard, and voila, you've got this fascinating hybrid. In the video, as the camera person approaches for a closer look, the creature doesn't shy away. Instead, it starts scurrying about on its little legs, just like a lizard would. Also, I can't help but wonder about the advantages this creature might have with its unique anatomy. Imagine it navigating different terrains like sand, walls, and streets. Talk about versatility. This next clip shows a weird alien-like creature captured during a lightning storm in Los Angeles, and it's got viewers feeling like doomsday might be right around the corner. I mean, did you see that? It's like Godzilla decided to pay Los Angeles a visit during a thunderstorm. This spine-tingling footage, captured from an LA apartment, shows a bizarre figure looming in the clouds amidst a flurry of lightning strikes. But this ain't your average cloud shape. It's more like a long, snake-like shadow slithering through the sky. Also, it's not just one person who saw this eerie sight. Others in Los Angeles caught glimpses of it too. Some say it looks like a dragon, while others think it resembles a serpent god. And let's not forget that a few months back, there was something flying around in the same area that looked suspiciously like an alien spaceship. Call me crazy, but it seems like there's a whole lot of weirdness going down lately, and I can't shake the feeling that aliens might just be dropping by for a peek at our city of angels. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. Aquatic life is kind of fascinating because we've only explored 5% of it, leaving the rest, 95%, in the shadows, and this video shows what could be a creature from those unknown parts.
Okay, just walking on the beach, came across this weird creature.
It's here on the rocks.
I have no idea what it is.
Recorded on a beach, this video captures a very strange-looking blob-like creature washed up out of the water. Its body has a weird separated hexagon-like texture, with small leg-like things popping out of its periphery. This alien-like blob creature is just sitting there under the rock, and we don't see any movement from it in the video. It's quite a strange sighting, but not uncommon in the world of aquatic life. This could be some kind of new land jellyfish type creature, but again, I'm just speculating. Anyhow, whatever this creature is, if you ever come across something like this, please don't touch it. We never know what they are capable of. After watching this video, I'm seriously reconsidering my stance on exploring abandoned places, because this one gave me major goosebumps.
What?
This video was uploaded on an Abandoned Places Exploring channel on YouTube by a group of friends who had a really terrifying encounter during one of their explorations. In the video, we can see them navigating through an abandoned sewage tunnel using flashlights, as it was pitch black inside. Suddenly, one of the friends with the camera spots something moving in the distant darkness. He points it out to his friends, but they don't believe him at first. Then, they shine their flashlights in the distance and catch sight of a figure moving towards them. Its heavy breathing eerily echoing through the tunnel. The figure appeared humanoid, but more like a zombie, and it was steadily advancing toward them. Realizing the danger, they decided to bolt, and the video abruptly ends. It was undeniably a spine-chilling encounter, but it makes me wonder why they keep inviting these types of situations by visiting such places. Ever encountered a creature so unreal and bizarre that it leaves you pondering what else might lurk out there beyond our knowledge? Well, this video showcases just such a phenomenon. Hailing from Hillview, this video captures the discovery of an exceptionally strange white crab by local fishermen. This crab-like creature boasts a body adorned with strange hair-like structures protruding from its surface. Its pure white coloration is striking, and upon closer inspection, we can discern features resembling a tail and a head. Remarkably, the creature in the video is seen moving and arching its back, confirming its status as a living being. But what exactly is it? It certainly doesn't fit the typical crab profile. Speculation suggests it might be a product of genetic mutation coupled with albinism, but without further investigation, it remains a mystery. Nevertheless, its unique appearance is undeniably fascinating, and I wouldn't mind having one as a pet. If you got so far in the video, it means you're a dedicated viewer. Thank you. And if you subscribe and hit the bell button, I promise to keep posting these for you to enjoy. We're all familiar with stray cats and dogs, but this Indian village seems to have something a bit more. Intense stray lions. Watch this for yourself. Imagine being in that rider's shoes, watching this massive beast of nature calmly making its way toward you. Thankfully, it didn't seem to have any harmful intentions. Or maybe the bike's headlight blinded it just enough to keep it from coming any closer. But one thing's for sure, India is definitely not for beginners. While scrolling through TikTok, I stumbled on this video, and ever since, I've been triple checking my shoes before putting them on. Yep, that's a cobra, guarding those shoes like it's under a spell to protect them. From its upright stance and hissing, it's clear this snake is not happy about being disturbed. Cobras may not be the most venomous, but the amount of neurotoxin they can deliver in a single bite is up to 0.2 of a fluid ounce, which is enough to kill 20 people, or even an elephant. So my advice: leave the shoes and everything else behind before this cobra claims you too. A mom received a video from her daughter showing what she spotted on the highway, and after watching it, she was unsettled. It looked like a humanoid shadow, but its height and build were unnervingly huge. It appeared out of thin air from the darkness, just standing there on the fence. This figure is made purely of darkness. No features, no details, just an eerie, shadowy form. If it were a person, you'd think someone would stop to help, but no one did, which might mean they didn't even see it. So who, or what, is this dark figure? Even in our age of information overload, sometimes we encounter things that defy explanation. This video from Western Pennsylvania is a prime example. This clip, captured by tourists on a digital camera in the woods, shows a strange creature lurking in the trees. At first glance, it might resemble a bear or a gorilla, but take a closer look. It gets weirder. It appears to be a humanoid figure, hunched over and searching for something. The creature stayed put for a while, but the moment the campers tried to get near for a better recording, it vanished. Now, this blurry video of an unknown creature is definitely creepy. The fact that it doesn't seem like anything we've seen before adds to the chills. Some viewers online have even suggested it might be Bigfoot, but without a clearer video, it's impossible to say for sure. One thing's undeniable: this bizarre encounter is downright terrifying. Ask anyone who spends time outdoors, and they'll tell you the same thing. Bears are no joke. This video from Russia is a perfect example of why. This intense footage shows two vehicles and their passengers facing off against a seriously angry bear. In the video, we see something massive struggling underneath one of the cars. It takes a moment, but then it emerges. A giant bear. And it's not happy. The enraged bear unleashes its fury on the car, viciously attacking the tires. We see the terrifying strength of the beast as it completely rips one tire apart. It then sets its sights on the car, filming the whole thing, sending the passengers into a frenzy of scream. Faced with a charging bear, they have no choice but to back off and abandon the vehicle. The video ends here, but you can only imagine the adrenaline rush those people must have been feeling. This is a scary reminder of the raw power that bears possess. If you ever encounter a bear in the wild, the best thing to do is stay calm and follow proper safety guidelines. But let's be honest, seeing a giant ball of fur like that charging at you, yeah, staying calm might be easier said than done. Family camping trips are supposed to be relaxing, right? But this next video will make you think twice about pitching a tent in the woods.
Come on, guys.
What's that, Dad?
Did you see that? This video was taken by a dad on a camping trip with his kids, and things took a creepy turn. In the video, the dad is filming his kids playing when his son spots something in the woods and asks what it is. The dad pans the camera over, and let's just say it's not your typical woodland creature. This isn't a deer or a raccoon. It's a bizarre humanoid figure. The creature jumps onto a tree in a flash and disappears from sight. Needless to say, the dad freaked out and got his kids out of there. Slowing down the video and zooming in, you can see this thing is unlike anything we've seen before. It kind of resembles Bigfoot, but its proportions are way off. Those arms are crazy long, even longer than Bigfoot's. And the way it climbed that tree in one jump. Whatever this mysterious creature is, it's definitely put a damper on this dad's love for camping. And honestly, it's enough to make anyone a little nervous about venturing into the woods. Maybe stick to the campfire stories this time around. This man was driving through Gettysburg, the place of the famous battle, and also a hotspot for ghost encounters. And he's about to prove that.
I was told by a ranger. It was about in this area here, Jay, that the ranger said that there's been some activities. They heard some rumors about seeing some sightings of something that they can't explain.
There's a lot of troops that left over here, so the activity should be strong.
Alright, we'll record flick.
As you heard from the video, besides civilians passing through, also rangers reported seeing ghostly figures walking around. Many people have stories of that area, with figures dressed in Civil War clothes seeming lost, just wandering around. And after 20 minutes of staying in that spot, they find this. A figure next to the cannons. This is why this place is known as a ghost hotspot. Do you think this has to do with how many people lost their lives there in a violent way? This next clip from India, despite its low quality, is sending everyone into shock and a bit of an unsettling mood. In this video, captured by a security camera, we see a view of a street at night. Suddenly, a strange creature appears, strolling down the street. Everything about this creature is weird, from its appearance to the way it moves. It looks like a humanoid figure crawling on all fours, with an elongated body resembling a creature known as a rake. What really creeps me out is how fast this creature crawls, and at the end, it unexpectedly takes flight as if it were some kind of bird. The locals are equally scared and unsettled by this bizarre sight roaming their streets. Encountering such a creature during a nighttime stroll is something I definitely wouldn't want to imagine. Are you a river monsters believer or denier? Well, either way, this video from Seneca Lake, Albania will shake you up and leave you imagining what else lurks below the surface of our oceans. This video was recorded by a couple on a fishing venture in Seneca Lake, Albania. In the video, we can see a vast lake in the distance, but something catches our attention. A mysterious head popping out of the water's surface. As the cameraman zooms in, it becomes clear that this thing is no ordinary sight. It's a head of some kind of creature swimming in the water. This head is huge, reminiscent of a dinosaur's, and looks pretty gritty. It reminds me of the Loch Ness Monster's head. After surfacing for a moment, it disappears back into the water, leaving us all puzzled. This was a pretty shocking clip, but I can't help but wonder if it could just be some kind of weird-shaped driftwood. Then again, I'm letting my fear side do the talking. What are your thoughts about this? For more strange and interesting footage, check this out.